of that idea? I mean, first of all, why do mayors want to do it, and what are their people going to think of it?
Well, I definitely think that this could be a valuable contribution to the levelling up agenda, and I think we've seen an appetite, especially around metro mayors such as Andy Burnham, for greater devolution, to these authorities. But having said that, I think it needs to be action and not just talk. We've had a few of these devolution deals. And approaches to devolution to cities before. So really, I think to make this different from other attempts at devolution, there needs to be really a strategy backing it up.
I mean, to be fair, it seems hugely complicated to cover all of this. I mean, what if you live within an area that's got a metro mayor, but you work somewhere else? I mean, how does you and your partner could end up paying different rates of tax, even though you're living in the same house? I mean, it all seems very complicated.
I think the broad principle of giving metro mayors more powers is an admirable one. Metro mayors are in pole position to understand the needs of their local economies, their local areas. But I would agree with you there that the way that devolution has been handled in the UK in a very ad hoc basis does make things overly complex.
Yeah, has there been a lot of frustration, have we heard, from metro mayors about literally having to go with a begging bowl to Whitehall if they want some sort of fund some sort of special project? Has there been a sense of frustration from them?
I think to an extent there has, but really I think as well as metro mayors can't do it all on their own in terms of levelling up the country, I think. And I think this is really the ultimate aim of giving metro mayors more powers. But really the important thing is metro mayors can't do it all themselves. And I think national government also has a role to play in terms of thinking about fundamental reforms that can rebalance the economy.
It's interesting to try and work out, because you sort of assume, in a way, that you think, well, all these mayors are going to try and pitch the lowest taxes they can at their popular, because it's going to bring more people in, bring more businesses in, and generate income that way. The reality is it often works the other way, doesn't it? And people say, we need to raise more money, we're just going to put taxes up.
Well, I think the devolving tax powers is an interesting idea. I think that really the emphasis there is on handing more control over certain taxes. I would say that Westminster should also consider the route design of some of these taxes. If we want to rebalance the economy and level up taxes like business rates or corporation tax, already to an extent put a brake on business investment. So it's not all just about who decides the taxes and who sets the taxes. We also need to think about how these taxes are designed. We at Bright Blue have done some work on this, making reforms to the investment allowance, for instance, making sure that we keep the super deduction, to incentivise businesses, would also turbocharge businesses in the north.
Well, I was just going to ask about the north-south divide. It makes the position of mayor much more powerful and perhaps much more political. You mentioned Andy Burnham there, former Labour minister. If you're voting in a mayor who has an awful lot more financial power and clout, doesn't it sort of politicise his job even more than now? And if you, for instance, didn't like a Conservative government in Whitehall, but you fancied Andy Burnham having more political and financial power up north in Manchester, then, it turns the mayoral election into a very much more political one, doesn't it?
Yes, I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing. It depends really how these powers are devolved, how it's designed. But I think there are some good ideas in the report around making mayors more accountable. Obviously, the ultimate form of accountability is elections for the metro mayor positions. But anything that improves the electorate's information and the mayor's office's accountability is a good step.
Sort of slightly American, isn't it? I mean, because the sort of mayor in an American city is a very, very powerful figure, politically and financially.
I think, as I say, that's not necessarily a bad thing.
No, it's just interesting.
When we think about, we've already seen the profile really of places like Manchester, not just in the north, also cities like Bristol, greatly improved, I think, by metro mayors who've been able to raise these political issues. I think it's enriched our national political debate and given it more angles and more layers.
Welcome to the GB News YouTube channel. You can watch us live 24 hours a day, catch up on your favourite shows and join in the conversation in the comments below.
Don't forget to subscribe and you'll never miss any of our exclusive content.